All right, so it was a couple days ago that I did the update story on that YouTuber that got arrested. I swear if you say his name, your video gets demonetized before it has a chance to go live, but I don't even know why I care because this video is definitely going to get demonetized too. But I basically mentioned another couple quick stories and I said I would make full videos about them. Then the Spider-Man trailer came out and I figured it might be good to break up some of these dismal topics for something a little bit more lighthearted, something more exciting. And then Friday, I'm pretty sure, is going to be a Detective Pikachu review. So let's just sandwich in a really horrible story in between here. And this is like an epidemic in I might not want to say epidemic, but this is an issue in the United States. It seems to be popping up more and more and more. And it's where people who 100% deserve significant jail time, not just jail time, but significant jail time, are getting off with no jail time. Like, these are people who are worse than some people that I already think got too lax of a jail sentence, and they are getting nothing. And these are disgusting stories, and I swear I just saw another one today, but the main two that we are going to be focusing on is the one that happened this was last week, and then another one that was in the last couple of weeks as well. But the one from last week was the fact that there was a bus driver who raped a girl. Like, he's the bus driver of this teenage girl. This is a 14-year-old girl. This is like a grade 9 student, freshman for those in the United States, by a 26-year-old bus driver. And he admitted to doing it. And then the other story that happened recently is that a guy named Michael Wislovsky actually had somebody captive in a cage for a year in sexual captivity. And he's not going to prison either. No prison, just time served and probation. And these were two separate judges in two completely different locations coming to the same asinine judgment. There are people in prison serving like life terms or extremely long prison terms for like weed possession. And you have people like this just free, walking out there, just waiting to find their next victim. Like, there's already enough people out there who harbor these kind of thoughts who just don't escalate it to the point where they can get arrested. You just know that they're just waiting for their next, like, mental victim, that person they're gonna hone in on. Like, another thing, a lot of creators lately have been coming across stories where there's people that are in their fan bases that think they're in relationships with them, even though they're not. That's weird. There's enough of that going on out there of people not getting arrested when you have people like this who actually get caught committing the crimes, not going to prison. What is wrong with you? So let's break it down. Let's kind of go through the first story, then we'll go through the second story, because I think the second story they're both horrible, but the second one is definitely way more crazy that there's no prison time here. So Shane Peach, as in Shane Peach of shit, admitted to raping a 14-year-old girl who rode on the bus that he drove. The girl had also said that he would give her gifts. So she was 14. In the state of New York means she cannot consent. So regardless of what went on and what transpired, she could not commit to those acts. And he clearly took advantage of the situation, and it's disgusting. And the fact he got no jail time. So literally all he's serving is 10 years on sex offender probation. He's obviously been fired from his job and hopefully can't get another job involving any children. And I guess they're saying that the lack of a sentencing here is because he didn't really use force to get her. It's just that, like, you know, she's under the age of consent, and that's really all that should matter. She's under the age of consent. She can't consent to that. That makes him a predator. This whole situation is disgusting, and he should have at least seen some kind of jail time. So he will be registered as a level 1 sex offender, which basically means that he's of low risk of committing the crime again. But like, how do you know that? He's a bus driver, and the person that he took advantage of was somebody on his bus, which means that he can't be trusted in any kind of position where he has like control over anyone or any kind of situation. I hope he actually is of low risk and this never happens again, but this whole situation's fucking disgusting. He also had to face charges of endangering her welfare and providing her with alcohol. So that was piss off number 1. But then we get piss off number 2, which is the really, really horrible one. Like, this one was bad enough. Then you get the really, really, really horrible one. So Michael Wislovsky, who is 33 years old, pled guilty to first-degree cruelty to children because he was holding a 16-year-old girl who was anorexic and apparently had Asperger's in a cage as a sex slave. That's right. He had her in a dog cage for a year, for more than a year. captive as a sex slave. She specifically said that he would starve her for days on end and only feed her after she would have sex with him. Holy shit! And you must be thinking, wow, this guy must be going away for years. Are you just mad because he didn't get a long enough prison sentence? Did he only get 20 years? Did he only get 10 years? No, he got zero years. No years, zero. Zero time at all. He got no time in prison. This man is actually apparently was seen walking free yesterday. Just willy-nilly out in public. This man is walking around. How can you leave, sure, first guy you say, okay, it wasn't forceful, it was just statutory rape, it's whatever, we're gonna let him go free. That's still disgusting too. But this situation, how can you not say he's at a risk of reoffending when he thought it was okay to keep somebody locked in a dog cage for over a year as a sex slave, trading sex for food? What the hell? He apparently literally had charges of rape, aggravated sodomy, false imprisonment, and they were all dropped. And that's why he pled down to the lesser degrees of first-degree cruelty to children. How do you let somebody plead down from literally not just keeping somebody captive in a dog cage exchanging sex for food when they're underage? She's still underage and she was captured for over a year. I don't understand. Oh good, he's now registered as a sex offender living at mommy's house in Atlanta. Just keep an eye out, he lives in Atlanta, 330 yards from a high school and almost as close to an elementary school. So keep this guy, I'm gonna have his face on screen. If you live in Atlanta, look out and watch out for this piece of shit. Keep your children away from him, keep your friends away from him, keep yourself away from him. So he was also handed with a 10-year sentence with 8 months to be served in jail, but the kicker is he already served those 8 months. So he got to do time served. He got to literally live out his sentence waiting for his trial, and that's all he'll have to do. 8 fucking months for keeping somebody captive for over a year where the family didn't know where she was, thought she was missing, thought she could have been dead. Meanwhile, she's in a dog cage, literally being traumatized, trading herself for food. I'm disgusted. And I guess the only reason why the family's okay with this deal is because he would have to register as a sex offender. Wouldn't he have had to do that anyways? So they said, even if it means less jail time, we could not risk him being found not guilty and walking away from court with nobody monitoring his behavior. He would be free to claim victim after victim. He's still free to do that. Yeah, he won't be able to work with kids. He won't be able to be around kids. I guess there's even a string of former partners that he had that were willing to come forward talking about the dark fantasies and lust for violent, abusive sex that he had, meaning that he's probably at a high risk of reoffending. One of the former girlfriends specifically told prosecutors that he had indicated that he wanted to stuff teenage girls into the trunk of his car and take them back to his basement. He had told the same woman that he would like to go to a country like Thailand and take someone who would not be missed, according to the court transcripts from a February 2018 bond hearing. And multiple other partners came forward detailing abuse at his hands and a bunch of other stuff. I don't understand how this person is free. I don't understand how the judge thought this was a good sentencing. I would just like to point out that that is Judge Timothy Hamill that came down with this sentence. Judge Timothy Hamill is the genius who came down with a sentence here on Wissolowski. She's gonna be suffering probably forever because of the damage that he caused, because the father even said it was beyond imagination, because can you imagine that happening to you? He even said that she's attempted suicide 3 times since her rescue, and he's not getting any time in jail. Sorry, 8 months served. 8 months prior served. No jail time. And she has to live with that for the rest of her life. And he's just out there free to find other people. Even if it's not a child, he is free to go and do this to other people. There is nothing stopping him from moving as far as I can see. There is nothing preventing this from ever happening again. Other than the fact that he's registered on the sex offender registry list. Doesn't mean that he can't get somebody at a bar. Doesn't mean he can't bring somebody home from a bar and do this again. I'm disgusted. Anyways, my thoughts go out with the victims. This is disgusting. I don't know how this is allowed to happen, particularly this second one. Don't forget his face. If you live in the Atlanta area, obviously don't attack him or anything, but keep people away from him. Keep yourself away from him. Warn the people in your neighborhood. Keep an eye out. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for today's video. This very depressing little story about what I don't understand why this keeps happening. Why people think this is okay. particularly this story, and I don't get it. So I have no idea why they gave him a sweetheart deal. I don't know why the judge went along with it. And it's cute because the prosecutors feel he's less likely to reoffend because he's living with his family. That makes sense.